I am Shannon Ballman-Tice, the payroll queen. And today I want to start a new little installment that we're just going to call story time. I had a prospect have a sales call with me, and the whole time, they're describing what they need, what they did. It's all something that my firm is 100% capable of doing. they need they're desperate. They need this to be taken care of right away. So we explain what our fee structure is. We tell them, you know, what it'll cost. Let's just say for this particular case, it was the cost was going to be $14,000. They come back and say, "Oh, somebody else quoted us 8,000. Is there anything we can do about that?" So I knew what they were asking, but I played dumb. I said, "Well, we can break up the 14,000. You can pay half up front and then half when we are getting close to being completed." And they said, "No, I want you to charge less than $8,000." And I said, I'm afraid we can't do that." And we probably could. I mean, there was a time that I would have said, "Oh, yeah, sure, let's do that." Because I would have been in the mindset of needing to make the sale, needing to collect the money. But one of the things that I have learned, and sometimes I'm a slow learner, and this probably, when it comes to pricing services correctly, a lot of us are slow learners. We are so emotionally invested in the sale as an owner that we'll do what we'll kind of let the client lead when it comes to some of the pricing conversations. But one of the things that I have learned a lot is that when the client is only concerned about price, or they don't see the value in what you're doing, or understand that they are not your only client and want you to come down in price by almost half, they're going to be one of the worst clients that you could ever take on. They're going to be demanding. They're going to need a lot of hand holding. They're going to a lot of times treat you like garbage. So, one of the things that as a business owner, you have to really, really work on is set your price and shut up. Don't say anything else. You have to just be okay with the uncomfortable silence that comes with you gave a price. Don't talk yourself into a lower price while you're waiting for the client to say yes to the price you quoted. That'll happen a lot. We hardly ever have anybody that wants to negotiate on price or argue with us about the price, because we're pretty upfront. Like, this is what the project is going to cost. Um, and I don't normally quote like the project on a sales call. Um, but what happened with this one was, we'd already had a conversation. Then they needed to bring their accountant on so that I could get all of the details. And I actually did have enough details that I was comfortable giving a quote, or it's not a quote, it was an estimate. I had enough details that I could give the estimate over during that meeting, and with the qualifier that if once we got started working on it and in the process of developing the quote, if it was significantly different, we would let them know. But because You know what? Let me step back a little bit. Our process normally goes somebody finds out about us, schedules time on my calendar. I do sales calls 1 day a week, and I talk to whoever that was the prospect that day. And at that time, they're given their their options. And for most people, the next step is they pay a fee to get the for us to do the research to find out exactly what we need to quote them. So they pay a fee for our quote. Then we schedule a meeting and I deliver the quote. We go over in detail what needs to be done. Then at that time, they choose if they're going to find somebody else to do the work or if they're going to hire us to do the work. Most of the time, they hire us to do the work because if they had other people to do the work, it would be done already before they find us. Then we send them an invoice, they pay the invoice, they get on our calendar for us to do the project. And then we complete the project. We have another meeting with them to go over what we did, what they can expect next. And then they get the IRS letters and they upload them. We complete the abatement, which they've already paid for. And our follow up for most of our restoration projects lasts about a year. Sometimes a little bit longer, depending on what we did. We actually have a project that we completed in mid to late 2024 is coming back still because this was a multi-year project. It was almost 10 years worth of work that we did for the client. So we knew it was going to take longer. And we're actually helping the client with a revenue officer meeting, which is not in the scope of the original project. So all the work that we're doing to meet with a revenue officer, that is another engagement. But most of the time, our engagements don't last that long. They last about 14 months from the time that we do the first sales call till we finish the follow-up. But get comfortable with the awkward silence. It is okay to sit there and not say anything. You want the other person to speak first when you give them a price, any price. So hopefully this little story time has been helpful. And again, I am Shannon Tice, the payroll queen, and we'll see you next time.